All right. Good morning, everyone. I feel like we're going to need an entirely separate introduction for Conrad's epic mustache. That may be the best mustache I've ever seen in my entire life. So, good morning. Welcome to March 12th special events team meeting. We will start per usual with the introductions around the table, your name and the agency or department that you work with. And then Ed, we'll call on you at the end, but then we'll call on you for questions at your normally tabled place, which Tanya and Conrad will help me remember. And then at about 10, I apologize. I'm going to tap out, put Kelly in charge, and head to another meeting. So we'll go ahead and get started. Just a reminder to use your mics. That's how the system picks it up for the live stream. And with that, we'll get going. Tanya, you want to start?
Hi, guys. Tanya Motisi, Ada County Highway District.
Conrad McDaniel, Republic Services.
Vince Vergara, City of Boise Parking.
Dinko Milkovich, Central District Health.
Lee Berg, Downtown Boise Association.
Joey Eccles, Boise Parks and Rec.
Heather Zeitlin, Community Accessibility Program Manager.
Jesse Tappert, Boise Fire Prevention.
Joe Deathman, Boise Fire Operations.
Cameron Colas, Boise Police Department. Good morning.
Matt Konvalinka, Boise Police.
Rachel Holford, City of Boise Emergency Preparedness.
Kelly Frank, Office of Community Engagement.
Ed?
He might not be able to talk quite yet, but he is there.
Do we have anyone else online?
No.
Okay. Well, the soon to be visible Ed Graves from Public Works is also joining us remotely. All right, so we will start with Tree Fort right around the corner, and safety and security meeting has already happened. So welcome, you guys.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I know we're about a month later than we were last year. We're taking care of this, but we're happy to, I think we've touched everybody enough to make this a very smooth process.
I'm Eric. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm Mike.
We have 2 weeks until the festival. We're excited. I just want to point out that Joey offered to be in charge of the weather. That's what, so, and I'm very excited.
All right, let's get started. I can have that clicker for a sec. Yep. Oh, it's not. There you go. Okay, so this is Tree Fort 13. We're a week later than we were last year, which is great. The host organization is Tree Fort LLC. Multiple locations downtown, with our main hub being in Julie Davis Park. And then we also have a stage on 8th Street between Broad and Front, similar to what the Bodo Block Party does. As I said, the event dates are March 26th through March 30th, and then the times vary based on scheduling, and everything can be found at treefortmusicfest.com/schedule. And we estimate to be about 15,000 people this year, which is good. Oh, wow, it works. Obviously, Tree Fort takes over the downtown hub for those 5 days. There's many beneficiaries and economic impact that Tree Fort provides. Tree Fort enriches the Boise community experience through collective exploration of the arts. We see Tree Fort as a celebration of what makes Boise great. Whether it's Boise's growing music and art scene, local breweries, homegrown food, our lively downtown core, or simply its strong spirit of collaboration and love of the outdoors. Additionally, Tree Fort is a boon to the downtown economy, benefiting a lot of Boise's hospitality industry, from local restaurants, bars, hotels, and downtown retail. The CVB estimates Tree Fort generated over $11 million in economic impact last year alone. And over the past 2 years, Treefort has contributed over $88,000 directly to the parks through alcohol sales. Treefort is for everyone, for little ones, not so little ones. There's loads to discover. Event narrative. Treefort Music Fest is a locally based and organized music and arts festival presenting regional and national artists, as well as established headlining talent. The event attracts patrons from Boise, the Treasure Valley, the Northwest, Canada, and beyond. Treefort is a multicultural event with various subforts that include dance, yoga, food and beverage, film, technology, art, comedy, and many more. Now we get to the fun stuff. Our main stage venue map. No major changes this year. We have realigned Ailfort a little bit. But we'll have 3 stages: the main stage, the hideout stage, and the bandshell stage. We will continue with our lookout lounge, which is a VIP area with a 60 by 40 tent with a 10 by 60 porch. There's a bar, great vibes, private restrooms, and we'll have expanded portafloor throughout that whole area. In the Ailfort area, we have 5 bars there's 5 bars that encompass Ailfort. Ailfort, main stage bar, the hideout bar, the bandshell bar, and the lookout lounge. Then we'll also have Kidfort, Ranger Station, which doubles as our lost and found and lost child, and 2 med tents. 1 med tent is in the paid area, and 1 med tent is in the free access area. We'll have food trucks, nonprofit sponsors, and merch sales. We also have the box office and volunteer check-in, which is in its spot directly across from the Boise Art Museum. Yeah.
I just want to point out too, it's relevant to the public, but also this conversation, we did add an entrance by the south side of the adjacent, closer to Friendship Bridge. Just we're working a lot more with Boise State this year, and so there's a security point there now too.
Yeah, well, they can access from the Friendship Bridge, which is great. Some main stage venue statistics. We'll have 70 porta potties plus 7 ADA accessible porta potties. We'll have 22 wash stations, over 20,000 square feet of porta floor throughout the Julie Davis Park there. 3,000 linear feet of the 6-foot fence, 35 tents, and many other fun things for people to explore. This is just the infrastructure. Infrastructure provided by Event Rent, Porta Pros, fencing, potties, and hand wash stations. Generators by Mountain Valley Power. Valiant is taking care of all of our staging, sound, and lights. And we have a robust trash and recycling and compost program. There we go. This is a traffic control plan for our 8th Street stage, the Cyclops stage. And basically we're just shutting down 8th Street between Broad and Front. We are taking up the meters on the north side of Broad between Capitol and 8th. And we will have 2 3-yard dumpsters there that we're in the process of getting permitted through Tanya. And easy traffic control on this one. How do I get that? There we go. Thank you. Our medical plan is headed up by Carrie Cardoni. She's an RN. She leads the team and coordinates the EMS services. We'll have 2 first aid stations on site, both with auto defibrillators, 1 in the free area and 1 in the paid area. We'll have an ambulance station in the public free area. And this year, MAV Injury Care is our provider. The Cyclops stage at 8th Street will also have the EMS tent with BLS coverage. Accessibility plan. The Ranger Station info booth volunteers are available to answer any questions regarding accessibility. All food and beverage is located on level ground in Hardscape. Our ADA patrons are encouraged to contact the music festival for available accessible parking information. ADA accessible restrooms are available on both sides of the venue. We do have an ADA platform for accessible viewing located just stage right of the main stage, right in front. And then there's a web link, treefortmusicfest.com/accessibility with all ADA information. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Oops. I should have looked at that. This is a diagram of what we envisioned for the Cyclops stage. It's a free fort stage, means it's open to the public without having to buy a wristband. Programming runs Thursday through Saturday. The warehouse is handling all alcohol sales. We'll have a couple sponsor tents, an EMS tent. We're currently determining if we're going to ask patrons to use the restrooms in the warehouse because there's plenty and they're nice and beautiful, or if we should put some porta potties outside. Trash and recycling, the green team is taking care of that. And our security vendor for this stage is Signal. The safety of all involved is paramount to successful events. Treefort Music Fest Emergency Preparedness Plan is currently under construction and will be delivered prior to the event. I talk to Kristen almost every day these days and to help her through it, and she's doing a great job. Head of Safety Operations this year is Kristen Myers. She's a resident of Des Moines, Iowa, and will not be here until I think they fly in the 22nd, but she'll be available for on-site. And then we've contracted with MAV Event Services for all of Julia Davis Park. Sustainability. Treefort Music Fest believes in community. We've made a commitment to be an environmentally responsible festival for our community, which includes our staff, festival patrons, performers, sponsors, local businesses, Boise City, and beyond. We believe great festivals don't have to come at such a high cost to our environment. We strive each year to reduce our waste, reduce our non-renewable energy use, and increase the opportunities for reuse. We have a great green team, AKA the Garbage Gals, that operate our program.
I'm just going to chime in real quick. We're debuting a new project with single-use compostable cups this year that we're really excited about in partnership with Eco Products and Timber Creek, I think is their name. I think we've been working with you a bunch on it. So steel cups will still be a thing. We're still encouraging those, but we're excited to pilot this new program using the developments we've been having in compostable goods here.
The sustainability efforts, we don't use any single-use plastics for beverages in the entire main stage venue. We have a reusable plate program for our food fort. We engage with our food truck vendors to introduce and educate on eco-friendly options. Volunteer monitored sorting of recyclables to ensure clean waste streams. We have, as Eric just alluded to, we have a more robust compost collection system this year with single-use compostable cups. We provide free water fill stations to reduce single-use water products, and we have reused and upcycled materials used in much of our decor and construction. Our insurance and indemnification, insurance provided by Hub International. Community notifications will be going out shortly. As soon as we know exactly who we need to notify, we will get on that. And then supplemental permits, David Roberts from Bitter Creek Red Feather is our food and beverage director. We also utilize their alcohol license for Julie Davis Park. He'll manage all the permits for the main stage and El Fort Bars and our primary festival site. We have requested over 40 meters to be hooded during the events throughout the city. And we're working with parking services to make sure that happens. And lastly, Treefort Music Fest is a constant communication with CM Construction at the Boise Zoo and also Guho Corp on the Capitol Boulevard streetscape to ensure ease of use for all entities. We've had quite a few different touch points this year. We're kind of bookended by construction going on. And the last thing is our festival lineup, almost over 400 bands.
Mhm.
And thank you everybody for letting us do this. Our 13th year.
Thank you guys. It's an awesome event. And you always do such a great job, both at the presentation and just the planning and execution of the event. So thank you. Tanya.
I think we've been talking for maybe 4 months now. So I have everything I need from you. You're just pending traffic control review for the 8th Street venue. And then payment on those dumpsters, and then I'll send your permit back to you and to Conrad.
Awesome. Thank you.
Is Ed able to speak? Perfect.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sure can.
Great. Hi. Yeah. So sorry, I am not in person. I am Ed Graves with Public Works. So yes, I've been in communication with Mel. Still working on a couple things, but nothing I'm worried about. So if I need anything, I'll reach out to you all. But if not, have a great event.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to reach out to me if you're not getting what you need.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Good morning. Hey, if I could just take a minute to say thank you and brag on Treefort and their sustainability over the years. I actually broke into their green team area last year and took a look for myself. And I gotta tell you, like, okay, I should be a good recycler and I am, but you guys are right up there, maybe even a little bit better than how I recycle at the house. So I just want to say that like I was super impressed because there's a lot going on and walk around the footprint there, and there's so many people and it's impossible to like keep track of what everyone's throwing away. But the green team does. And I've even seen them reach in and pull something out and put it where it's supposed to go. So that's just 110% above and beyond. So
You're an amazing crew.
In addition, I'm very excited to see how the compost goes this year. It'll be new. So there's always a learning curve with that, but I know that you guys have proven yourself year after year that you really care and you're really paying attention. So can't wait to see how that goes. About the logistics, I've been working with Mel a lot and she's great. The one remaining thing I just want to say is you're gonna have 6 roll-off dumpsters. That takes up a lot of space. And well, our trucks get in there and they really only have one shot at each dumpster to do it. So it's just important to make sure that I know I see staff parking in that area, but there can't be any staff parking.
Yeah, we're making adjustments for that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll phone it off or we'll do what we need to do to ensure the dumpsters can be dumped.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Conrad.
Gents, we have everything mapped out that we need for parking. I think we just have a couple of details on the back end to take care of here sometime soon, but I think everything's good to go.
I
And,
believe I was told this morning that checks are in the mail.
I like it. I like it. I'm always nervous about that part of things.
I know you are.
I always want to make sure I always have this like crazy idea in my mind that if you know, we don't get paid, then somebody else is going to try to take it. But we are pretty diligent on marking things out for big events and saying,
It's a pleasure to work with you.
yeah, we always do the, oh, I got a better place for you. Oh, sorry. All right, thank you guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Morning, guys. Great presentation. We have all your paperwork. All the food vendors are good to go. I just have a few pretty standard questions. The festival runs from Wednesday, the 26th through Sunday of that week.
Correct.
But my understanding is the food trucks will begin operating on Thursday, the 27th. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. At what time of day on Thursday will they begin?
Our gates are at 1:30, so I imagine they'd be starting about 2.
And that's actually good for everybody. Maybe we didn't clarify that is the festival is still 5 days, but the main stage area in the park is only 4 days this year. So it starts on Thursday through Sunday. So yeah.
Okay, understood. The reusable plate program, does that just entail like a local restaurant being used for the dishwashing, or is there perhaps an on-site like washing
We actually
station?
use the Basque Center
Okay.
to wash and do all that. We have a big program going on there, and they've offered us use of their kitchen area. So
Okay,
Mike is taking care of
fantastic.
that.
And then, you know, we've talked a little bit about the possibility of the food trucks having their gray water collected at some point during the event.
Yeah.
We can follow up offline if you guys want, but
We do have on our map, we have gray water stations pointed out next in the food truck area.
so the food trucks will have the capability
Yes.
to have the gray water tanks empty.
Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful.
Yep.
Thank you guys very much.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Hi, Mike, Eric, thanks for your presentation. I think you guys are totally on track with neighborhood notifications. It's really just that Cyclops stage at
Mhm.
8 in front and the Boise Brewing venue that are within that boundary that we need paperwork for. Just spoke with John on the phone yesterday afternoon, so I think the plan is in motion, but always feel free to reach out if you need any help with that. Thank you.
Morning, gentlemen. Thanks for the update on the payment, but thank you guys for the communication with kind of the updates, the load-in schedules. I know it's a huge help for our team to plan and prep in advance, and then also to see that footprint. So thanks again, and we'll continue to be best friends for the next couple weeks.
Thanks, Joey.
Hi, my name is Heather Zeitlin. I am new to the group. I'm the Community Accessibility Program Manager. Just looking at the venue in the eyes of access for everyone, it's great that you guys have the spot on your website. I just pulled it up. I was just curious, could you possibly add like a map highlighting those accessible features that might be useful for the community so they like know where the parking is, where the entrances are, and where those accessible porta potties are? Maybe just a little more information there, but otherwise, looks great. New to the group, so not much to say, but beyond that, thank you very much.
Thank you. And I know we have a map that's almost done. That's going to go up, and I believe it has those things on there, right?
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Hey, guys, thanks. We already had our safety and security, so I don't have a whole lot. But I haven't seen your Boise Fire special events permit come through yet. So if you could make sure to get that completed. And when you submit that, please submit the specifications for the main stage, operator's manual, that kind of thing. And then I drove the construction entrance the other day just to take a look at it. And I think it's adequate. We're okay with it. As long as those areas, you guys really patrol those areas, make sure they're clear, that gate, make sure somebody's available to open that gate if we need to bring an apparatus through that area. So if you guys can do that, I think we'll be okay with that situation.
Awesome. Yeah. You know, with the construction, they had their office directly in our backstage area, and they were kind enough to move it. They were going to move it later in the year, but they moved it. And first top of my mind was emergency access. And I think there's plenty of room. We'll have people at that gate 24/7.
Okay.
Ensuring that if emergency personnel need to get back there.
All right. Sounds good.
We can get them back there.
Thank you.
Nothing from operations. Looks great. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good morning, guys. A couple questions. compostable cups, or is that the plan? Kind of like last year, we're gonna do everything in terms of draft and compostable cups and stainless steel. I know last year we had a couple of can options, but are we looking at everything in draft this year?
No, we're gonna have cans too. No, yeah, we're gonna have cans again too.
Okay, so just a few select cans, or what is the plan?
I
like
don't
last year?
know. I don't know the menu off the top of my head, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I can get with David on that one. And then secondarily, the Cyclops stage, is that is Lori still involved with the warehouse? Is she the one planning it all with you?
Working with Robert there, the general manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just want to bring them in the conversation, obviously, if they're pulling the permit to discuss with them. So I'll work with David and the warehouse on those two. Otherwise, I think we'll discuss offline the rest of the things to iron out. Thanks.
Thank you.
And I really don't have anything further. We're just about set for staffing, and that's just an offline conversation with Lieutenant Salai. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you so much for the conversations that have been going on. We know that there's a lot of moving parts. So kudos to you guys for keeping up as best as possible. So I'll just wait for that EAP. When that comes through, that would be great. And then we will see you for the walkthrough. So looking forward to it.
And can you remind me when the walkthrough is? I didn't get an invitation yet.
Okay. Yes, it is the 27th.
Okay.
I think like around 11. but
Okay.
I'll send it to you directly.
Okay. That'd be great. Thank you.
You're not invited.
I don't have anything further, but if you guys do need help with any of the information, obviously passing back and forth, the new system does allow for uploads and attachments afterwards, so everybody can retrieve it from there, but you can always send it through the special events too. And do you need the link to the fire special events permit, or do
That
you
would
guys
be
have
awesome.
that? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll get
I-
that right over to you.
With the new system, I'm just kind of navigating it for the first time.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's awesome. It's great that I can fill one thing out and it populates all the other permits. I didn't know that it wouldn't populate the fire permit. So I'll make sure that's done.
All good. And thank you for being some of our first users in the system.
Yeah.
It is good, and hopefully it'll be a lot better with as we iron out the wrinkles in the next year. So thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
All right, next up, we have the Outer Space Banana venue. Welcome, Thomas and Brandon. Yes, sorry, I didn't get a chance to introduce myself. So the clicker is up there for your presentation. I'll get that going on your screen in just a second. But please use your microphone so people online in the recording can pick up as well. Thank you.
Do I need to, I need to push. Here we go. All right. My name is Thomas Posen. I'm a new professor at the College of Idaho, and I run Under the Trees, and I'm partnering with Space Banana to do the outer space banana stage. We're really excited to work with Treefort this year, and I think that this is a lot easier than what you just saw. So hopefully it goes real smooth. So a brief outline, I'm going to talk about the layout, the traffic, alleyway and parking, safety, community entertainment, and the public health as specified in the instructions. Our site is much simpler than Treefort's, and we did exactly this site on February 22nd and January 25th for Under the Freeze. So it's the exact same layout. We learned a couple things. The bar is on the right-hand side, and that makes it easier to shuttle drinks in and out of Space Banana without having to go through a crowd. And then everything else is essentially the same. I think it worked really well. So in greater detail, the entrance is off of, I think that's Bannock. Yeah, that's Bannock. So we have an entrance there, and then we have an emergency exit in the back. And there's 2 security guards. So there's going to be one at the back, one at the front. This event, in contrast to Under the Freeze and last year's version of Outer Space, is 21 plus. So we're just simplifying that across the board. And so only 21 plus will be allowed in. We'll give them a wristband at the front. And then we're hiring a MAV security in the back. His name is Blaze. He did a great job at the last event, and we've requested him again. We have an 8-foot by 20-foot stage that's on a trailer that we lock. And then we put the sound equipment in front of it and some truss system and also lighting. And then we'll have waste disposal. We rented, I think, 4 recycling bins and 4 trash bins that seem to work really well. We'll have a kind of a welcoming table, a merge table, and then also a first aid kind of vulnerable persons, lost child area. And also we have an AED machine that Space Banana owns that we'll use during the outside event, and then it'll be moved inside for the inside. So we will not be requiring the need of any roads or alleyways or sidewalks to be closed. We will only be using the Gato parking lot. So of course there'll be no parking available during this time. And I'm working closely with Julian to get that settled. We've also paid for 2 parking meters in front of Tent Barrel Brewing to shuttle in and out, mostly for photography use and so forth. As I mentioned, there's a basic medical tent. And one thing that's on here that's kind of nice, we have Starlink Wi-Fi. So if it gets super congested, we will have a Wi-Fi available if we need to do an emergency call or something. And then there's emergency vehicle access both in the back alleyway and in the front on Bannock. As I mentioned, this is 21 plus. I think that's going to simplify our security and overall kind of alcohol serving. We're planning 2 security guards, front and back, manned at all times, wristbands, and then there's also a $10 entry fee for this particular stage to help us run it. I should have the $1 million event liability insurance today. And then we will be notifying this kind of region right here of the downtown businesses of the sound amplification. And then the site is also wheelchair accessible. So no issues there. There are some parking kind of concrete blocks that are a little bit annoying, but it's a parking lot. So you got to do it. We do what we can. But yeah, this area seemed to work pretty well. I've gotten to know a lot of the business owners, and they all seem really excited about these events. So that seems to have been going well. So the plan is to open the doors at 5 p.m. and then sound will start at 5:30 p.m. The reason we're doing that is because we have 3 DJ sets and we want to give everybody an hour and a half. So we're starting the sound a little bit later at 5:30, and then we'll do a hard stop at 10 p.m. There's amplified sound. So we have some speakers, a full PA system, and then we bring in DJ equipment. And there will also be concert style lighting, so moving beams and so forth that begin after sunset. There's no food served at this event. The bar will be catered by Space Banana. The application has been submitted. There's 2 porta potties that we're bringing on site. One is ADA accessible. And then, as I mentioned, there's 4 trash and 4 recycling bins. And we'll empty all of this into the building's dumpster that's associated with the Oppenheimer group. So here's the layout, pretty simple. I was very happy with the last of 2 events we did. I'm really excited to be working more closely with the city. We've done events at the Old Idaho Penitentiary, TRICA, Boise Parks and Rec, and I'm hoping in a year or two's time we'll be presenting more and more complicated maps for you all as we grow. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Thomas. That was perfect. We'll go ahead and start with Tanya.
Hi, guys. Nice to meet you in person. This is outside of our right of way, so nothing needed for us. I will put out just like a notification about the event. Just keep in mind, there is still pedestrian restrictions to the east and around the corner there. So that are still in place. So just be mindful of that.
Yep, Ed.
Yeah, hi guys. Thank you for your presentation. I've been in contact with Jen about the trash boxes and recycling containers. So that's been fine. That's all sorted out. And yeah, just know moving forward with any of your events now, I'll be more involved. I've been on leave, so I wasn't able to really look into the other events as far as your waste management and your kind of sustainability practices. So anyway, just in the interest of this group's time as well, I'm not going to go into all that, but yeah, we will talk later about other events that you apply for, and we'll just see you then. So thank you.
All right, good morning. Just to be clear, neither of you are with Oppenheimer or Space Banana.
Yeah, so he's representing Space Banana.
Okay, perfect. Great, because everyone wants to use your dumpster, and so I was like, well,
I remember that from last year.
can someone from Space Banana okay this?
Yeah. Well, last year,
Oh, well, for this event, I know this was the case for the Under the Freeze as well, but
My understanding is that it's the building manager.
yeah,
yeah,
but you're the tenant in
Yeah.
there as Space Banana,
yes,
and Oppenheimer is the building owner.
yes,
So you might run it by Oppenheimer, make sure.
that we've done. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, if I could, if you have that in writing, that'd be great to see. My only concern here, I know it's worked in the past, Treefort's, I think, bigger. My only concern is like what happens that that dumpster's set on a schedule, and I think it's emptied every day. I could be wrong, but it's set on a schedule, and if you add capacity to it, you could end up with overflow trash and then nowhere to put it except for on the ground in the alley. So that's what I'm trying to avoid.
Yeah, absolutely. I will send an email with Kobe Barlow on it, who is the property representative for Oppenheimer on that building. Something that we have kind of working in our favor there is you have us on the ground floor, which is a hospitality concept, and then you have Mad Suite also, but everything above us is offices. And so the trash load on all of those offices is pretty light in comparison to what both us and Mad Suite produce, being retail concepts. So I will make sure that that is all clear and set, and connect with Kobe so you've got that in writing.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Gents, we have the meters that we need in front of 10 Barrel Reserve paid, so we're set to go. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. Are there any plans to host any food vendors or perhaps serve food yourselves? Anything that's not currently on the bar's menu?
No, and one of the reasons is that we want to encourage people to go to the businesses in the area. So there's a sushi bar that actually asked us if we could do a call out, and people could go into their restaurant. And so I'm keen to help out the businesses in that area.
Okay, if that's the case. You guys are good to go as far as CDH is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Brandon, Thomas. Nice to see you guys.
Good to
Thank
see
you
you.
for calling out businesses in your area. We always love to hear that. You guys did a fantastic job with the Under the Freeze notifications. Didn't hear any negative feedback at all about those two events. So I think with the map you showed, same notification plan in the same area, you'll be all set.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, gentlemen. Thanks for the presentation. It's good to meet y'all. And this falls outside of Parks and Rec, so it's good for us.
We'll be talking soon.
Definitely.
Hi, Heather Zeitlin. Nice to meet you. It's a good presentation. If you could pull that map up,
Mhm.
because you hit all the points. You have the accessible entrance and the ADA porta potty. When you were talking about the parking concrete, is that what you're talking about in that rear?
It's kind of it's butted up against the walls on the left and right. They're concrete blocks so that the cars don't drive into the wall, basically.
So is that space in between that last one and the stage? Do you know what that measurement is? for that exit
Yeah, so
out?
there's a dumpster receptacle. Actually, this map is a couple of centimeters off. The stage will actually be forward a little bit. And there's a dumpster receptacle fence area over there. And so we pull the stage forward and that allows us to have like a little mini green room and also have some equipment and also have the generator back there. And so there's a gap of about 6 feet behind the stage. And then there's a 6-foot entrance on the right-hand side.
So there's plenty of space for like a wheelchair to navigate
Absolutely.
exiting,
Oh,
even with
absolutely.
those concrete things. Okay, that was
Yeah.
my only thought.
Yeah,
Looks
for
great
the
otherwise.
but generally, we don't like people going in and out that area. It's just for staff
Okay.
as the emergency exit. But of course, if they needed to leave, on a wheelchair during an emergency, that would be open
Okay,
and
great.
accessible.
Looks good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation, guys. We're not going to require a fire permit because everything you have is, all your structures are fairly small. I just have a couple of concerns. The first being, there's a couple of exit doors for 10 Barrel there. I just don't want the fencing to block those exits. Make sure those are nice and open.
Absolutely.
And then you also have a fire department connection towards the bottom right hand of your footprint there on the building on the corner there. So just make sure there's a 3-foot clearance around that connection, that it can be seen from the sidewalk, the street area, so we can have access to that if we need it. Those are the
Great.
only 2 concerns I have, but everything else looks pretty good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's talk about medical plan real quick. Looks like, how many people are you guys anticipating?
So at our Under Oath Freeze event, we had at any one time probably 240 people according to our check-in metrics. I think there will be more during Treefort. So I'm anticipating between 300 and 500 people at any one time. It'll probably fluctuate. When we had about 300 people, it was a little less than half of the parking lot. So yeah.
Good. I'd like to see you guys at least have a first aid station and AED for this event.
Yeah, we have both.
Okay, good. I might have missed that. I'm glad you got the Starlink 911. And just for future reference, rarely will we use the alleyway as access to an event, just because that's an unknown quantity for emergency response. What else did I have for you? Starlink number of people. Oh, another thing I would consider for you guys. It's a very small footprint, or relatively small, but I would consider how you're going to evacuate people should you need to. What kind of steps are you going to take in order to do that? Should there be some kind of event where you got to clear the whole area? So just consider that. Other than that, if you guys have the AED and the first aid station, we're good.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I'm good. I don't have any questions. We've worked on this layout for a number of events, so we'll discuss a couple things offline, but nothing to be concerned about right now. Thanks.
Thanks.
We're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Thank
you so much. I know when we very first started talking about this area, we had all these ideas and you guys really brought it to life. So thank you for everything. We are good to go. Wish you the best of luck, and we will put together a packet to share with our responders should they need to come to your event. Fingers crossed you won't have anything but fun. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ed with Public Works had another question, so we'll tag him back in for just a second.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, sorry. I was, when you were speaking about the dumpster receptacle there and like a green fence, is that where you guys were? That's in
Yeah,
the
so
footprint?
there's 2 dumpster areas there. I think
Yeah.
one of the dumpsters belongs to 10 Barrel that's fenced in, and then the other are kind of on the opposite of the alley. And I understand. Well, I think those belong. Maybe they belong to the other building. There's actually 3 now that I think about it. There's dumpsters next to the Oppenheimer building, 2 next to this other building that has a beautiful mural, and then 2 next to 10 Barrel.
Okay, it sounded like there was sort of like like we would call those a solid waste enclosure if it's something enclosing a dumpster, especially from like public view. And that's what it sounded like you were describing, and you were going to put equipment in there.
No. That'll
Okay.
be it'll be that area is totally fenced off, and actually what it does is we put the stage in front of that, and it creates like a little room behind the stage for our artist and for our sound technician, and the dumpster area is completely enclosed and separate from the event.
Okay,
layout.
yeah, okay. Thank you. I wanted to make sure there was nothing put inside of a dumpster enclosure, because we
Absolutely.
can't have that at all. But okay, thank you guys. I appreciate the clarification.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the only thing, I did want to mention, just, police is aware, but I wanted to let Abby know too, I could forward. We did have a couple of noise complaints from the last Under the Freeze, so we just wanted to make sure we could adjust that accordingly, have it on record, but, yeah, just, you guys are doing great, so that's just the growing pains and
Yeah.
learning curves, so.
Thank you.
If you need anything else from me, let me know. Otherwise, I'll get your presentation out to the team, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you guys out there in a couple weeks.
I think there are two elements that need to be sorted out that I'm working on. One of them is we would love to have a drone fly to get some footage of the event. So I need to write the drone flight map and then figure out the insurance that we need for that. And then the other element on the special events that we saw was I think a arrangement with the police, or like a police plan. Is that secure at this point,
It
or do
was
we
the
need to
staffing
have something in
agreement.
writing? A staffing agreement? I mean, I guess there's no staffing on site, so,
Yeah, we can get with you offline about that.
okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were having officers at your event, so we would need the staffing
Got it.
agreement if you were. And then were you able to review the drone information?
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that more detail, and my main issue was just figuring out which insurance we need, and then my understanding is that the drone license is to the individual flying the drone that has the FAA license. And so I just need to figure out which person will be flying the drone that day, get them the insurance, and then send you the flight plan.
Okay. Yeah, the FAA's rules have changed this year, so we did try and identify that on the website, and then obviously link directly to the FFA. So if it continues to change, but if you do have any questions, Rachel and myself are happy to help with that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Before we close, I just wanted to say a thank you to everyone in this room and the city as a whole. This is our, we opened a year ago, and new businesses are hard and challenging. And so many people in this room and departments that are not here. But the city in general is, I don't see how we wouldn't have done it, how we would have done it without you. And we are so grateful to be operating in this community, and we're very excited for the plans we have for the future and what you'll see from us. And so thank you so much for being an amazing city to live in and work with.
Yep. Thanks, Brandon. I do remember your panic last year. Like, now that you mention it, but you guys have come a long way. So
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Great, is that all? We're good?
Yep, you are free to
Oh,
go.
wonderful, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we'll transition over to the Boise River Greenbelt Relays. All right, Shahan, thank you for joining us. We'll turn it over to you whenever you're ready.
All right. Is this working? Well, it's definitely working. All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Shihan. I am one of 4 owners of a local organization called Boise Running. We've been in operation for about 4 years now, hosting running and cycling and walking events, mostly limited to the trails in the Greenbelt. This is our first foray into kind of, I would say, dipping a toenail into closing some roads and looking at using some active roadways as part of our events. So this event that we're talking about today is the 2025 Boise Greenbelt Relays. It is set to take place on Saturday, April 5th. The course is pretty large. It's 45 miles in total, which is why there's no screenshot on the document here, but I can just talk through it real quick.
So the start and finish is going to take place at Ann Morrison, right next to the old timer shelter. And then teams of 1 runner, 2 runners, 4 runners, or 6 runners will tackle a course that runs a clockwise loop of the Greenbelt, starting at Ann Morrison, going west first out to Eagle Road, heading north with some traffic control help from AWP across Eagle Road onto the north side of the Greenbelt, at which point they head all the way east on the north side of the Greenbelt, with the one exception being heading south around Capitol to get around some construction there. Head all the way out east to Sandy Point. There's an aid station out there, and then runners will head back on the south side of the Greenbelt all the way back to Ann Morrison. As of this morning, we have about 150 people signed up. We expect that to get maybe up to 250 by the time registration closes on April 2nd. But we can keep you all in the loop as registration numbers continue to develop between now and the event date. I will keep this scrolling downward. Like I mentioned, we do have traffic control in 3 places along the course, anywhere that runners are getting close to active roadway or adjacent to it. So the first place is on Eagle Road. We are closing a shoulder, heading north from where the South Greenbelt hits Eagle Road, up north to where it picks back up on the north side of the river, right next to Bardenay. And the second place we have traffic control is through the property near Expo, Idaho. Because of the construction over there, the normal detour to get back onto the Greenbelt on Remington Street is not available. And so we are actually taking a detour directly through the Expo, Idaho property. I supplied traffic control plans for that along with our application, and I'm actually meeting with Bob over at Expo, Idaho on Friday to do the walkthrough and see if any minor adjustments are needed. And then the last place, because there's an event at Barber Park on the day of our event, we also have traffic control just to make sure that our runners can get safely across the street in Barber Park and continue on Greenbelt access as they move west to that area. Moving on here, the course marking plan is quite simple. We use this at all of our events. We have red and blue flagging that has some branding on it for our organization, and we'll place those along the way on the course to indicate to runners that they're on the right path. And then thanks to Tanya's suggestion from ACHD, we also have a plan to print and place what I think amounts to about 15, if I'm not mistaken, signs along the course roughly every 3 miles that will have the what 3 words, 3-word string for runners to be able to tell volunteers, staff, or law enforcement emergency services exactly where they're located. Those will be branded and placed at the locations indicated here and on the course map, which I can share later or circulate via link afterward, has all of those locations prior indicated to participants as well, so they'll be aware of where those signs are going to be placed. In terms of emergency preparedness, all participants are going to be instructed to dial 911 in case of emergency, but we do have, like I said, those what 3 words signage placed. Then if there's any sort of lost person scenario, and just for the record, we do not have any participants under the age of 18 currently signed up. The age range is from 22 to 65 at the moment. But we will instruct everybody in our pre-race communications that if somebody gets lost, to report to an event staff or volunteer member, or use the what 3 word signage to get in contact with emergency services. In terms of trash pickup, it is a pretty self-sufficient event. We will have at all 6 transition zones cardboard trash receptacles that we own, and then we're encouraging runners to use public trash receptacles along the way. And then within 3 hours of the event concluding, which is projected to be around 5 p.m. on the 5th itself, we have a team of 6 event organizers that will be splitting up the course among us and doing a on foot or on bike recap of the entire course to make sure any extra trash or anything that was left behind is picked up and taken care of by our team. These are, like I just mentioned, the 6 places for transition zones, all of which have been permitted separately. The only place that really has a extended footprint is going to be the start finish at Ann Morrison. Each of these other 6 places is going to be a very simple footprint, a table, a 10 by 10 tent. And basically what's going to happen here is runners are going to come in, whoever the active runner is, they'll be wearing a bib and a wrist slap bracelet. And the signification of, or the process by which a runner will pass the baton, so to speak, from one runner to the next is just switching that slap bracelet and checking in with one of our volunteers so that we know who is on course at any given time. And then they go on, run the next leg, and then repeat that same process at the next transition zone. In terms of medical support, we essentially have two different things that we're doing here. One is we are contracting with Victory EMS to have a paramedic and ALS unit on site for the whole day. For the first half of the day, they will roam the western half of the course, which is bounded by Eagle Road on the west and Ann Morrison on the east. For the second half of the day, they will roam the eastern half of the course, which is the opposite, so bounded by Capitol Boulevard on the west, or Ann Morrison on the west, and Sandy Point on the east. And then we have a group of either 3 or 4 ICOM students, medical students, 3 of which have previously had paramedic or EMT certifications. They will be staffing a trauma kit at the start-finish line. And then we have individual basic first aid kits that will be distributed to each of the 6 transition zones. So volunteers will have access to simple things like Band-Aids and gauze if necessary. Moving on from there, talking a little bit about our communications. So with authorities, we did create, just because this event does span such a large chunk of the region, it involved quite a few, as you can see from the list there, different agencies that we had to coordinate with. And so just in case we have something that comes up at the last second around construction or weather or other reasons that we would have to make an adjustment to our plan, we did go ahead and proactively create a distribution list called bgrcoms@boiserunning.com that contains membership, as you can see here, with just about everybody in this room, plus we've talked to outside of it to try and coordinate permitting. So if we have to make you all aware of something, we have an easy way to do that. With staff and volunteers, we always create for every event of ours a event day cheat sheet that has things like the EMS dispatch number, cell phone numbers for all of our race directors, logistic plans, estimated times of when teams will be in and out of transition zones, all of that kind of thing. So that'll be distributed to all staff and volunteers. We have a go, no-go meeting the morning of with AWP Safety to make sure that we're all on the same page, and we're meeting with their team pretty much weekly at this point leading up to the event. We just got off the phone with them last week to figure out some details there. So we will continue to do that. And then with participants, one thing I wanted to call out here that actually we are making a slight change for feedback that we got during the safety and security meeting is that we will certainly have the ability, as we always do, to communicate with participants through email and social media. But we're actually going to collect the cell phone number of every team captain at packet pickup, just so if we do have some sort of issue, we have a way to text or call them individually. It's not every individual participant, but in theory, since every team has a captain, we will have a direct line of communication with every participant through their captain. I think that is all I had to get through for today, so I will pause there and open it up for questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being so thorough and
Pleasure.
just making this easy on us. The multiple jurisdictions are a little bit frightening, but you proved otherwise. So we'll go ahead and start with Tanya.
Hi, Shihan. Nice to see you in person.
Likewise.
The amount of planning that you have done for this event is insane. To span so many jurisdictions and so many people that you've had to communicate with. Really appreciate your level of organization. I did receive your traffic control plans, so I will be reviewing those and sending over approvals, or if I need any sort of revisions, I'll let you and Kendra know. Thank you for the additional kudos. I'm definitely honorary Boise Fire.
Good.
Make sure Jonas notates that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, yeah, thank you for the presentation. Just a couple of quick questions. You mentioned trash boxes. Do you have those, or how are you going to acquire those?
Yeah, we have those. We have a fleet of probably 30 of them that we use for all of our events. So we'll have
Perfect.
2 out for each transition
I love
zone.
that. Okay, I love to hear that, man. And then also, will there be any like water bottles or food or other drinks supplied at the event?
Yep, we just have water and like your typical Gatorade coolers that we use for running events, and then we may mix in some electrolytes. We're still waiting on a sponsor to pick up the bill for that, but that's our standard approach for most of our events.
Okay, so as of now, you'll have like plastic water bottles for everyone.
No, cups.
Oh,
Single-use
cups.
that we'll have receptacles for to collect.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks. I will shoot you an email here, maybe with some other questions, but I feel like Conrad probably has some questions about trash, so I'll let him take over. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Ed, I was gonna pass, but since you said
Now you have to
something.
have questions.
Hey, very well done. Thank you. Okay, so building off Ed's questions, at the end of the event, where does the trash go? Where does the recycle go?
Good questions. So two of our event organizers actually own Fleet Feet Treasure Valley, which has locations in Nampa and Meridian, and they have just dumpsters at both those locations that we can use for trash. And recycling, quite honestly, usually the volume is low enough to where it just goes into my home recycling.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Because we're recycling it, so that's good. Thank you. You mentioned Fleet Feet. Is that okay? And are you associated with them?
I am not. So there's essentially 4 equal owners of the LLC that puts on the races, me, my wife, and then another couple. And the other couple is the one that owns Fleet Feet.
Okay, if I could just get written permission to you, it doesn't have to be sent to me directly, just permission acknowledging that you're gonna use their trash
Okay.
dumpster.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be
Put it on
great.
my list.
Thank you very much.
Nothing for us in parking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shihan. Just real quick, any plans to host any food trucks, hand out any, snacks, etc.?
There will be some snacks, like probably some K-Thrill food bars that we have from previous events that are just prepackaged like granola bars. But there's no plans to have vendors or anything like that currently. It's a first year event, so we tried to keep it pretty simple. But next year I certainly hope to be reaching out for a vendor village.
Okay, understood. I may send you a follow-up after today's meeting, but if you don't hear from me, you're good to go.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
Thank you.
Good morning, Shihan. Thanks for being here. Your entire event takes place outside of the downtown core, so DBA doesn't need anything from you. Just have a great event.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Morning, Shian. Thank you, as always, for you and your team, clear communication, and you're answering questions before I even ask them. So appreciate that. You guys have paid, and we'll work through, find a little things. But as far as park's concerned, you've been a pleasure to work with, and hopefully there's no other greenbelt closures that we throw at you last minute. So
Fingers crossed on that one.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Heather Zeitlin. I don't have any notes on that. It was a great presentation, and I hope you have a great event.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great presentation. I have nothing from a fire prevention standpoint. Chief Detman had to step out of the room. He's aware of your medical plan and he says he's good to go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Nothing for me. Awesome job. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. We like that it's all in the green belt, so we don't have anything for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, it's nice to see you in person.
Yeah, likewise.
Just want to say, from where we started in the initial emails to where we are now, this is a tremendous job. So please, I hope everybody that you're working with knows how much you put into this. We appreciate the meeting with the safety and security team and for taking on all of our recommendations. It turned out beautifully. We wish you the best of luck. And yeah, we have everything we need.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I ditto what Rachel said. And we'll maybe see you in the fall.
I hope so. Yeah. I hope it's the first of many.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, if you need anything from any of us, don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to help. We probably will do a little bit of a follow-up afterwards, just if anything needs adjusted and discuss what went well and everything. So
Sounds good.
looking
Yeah.
forward
Thank
to
you
it.
all. You've been great to work with across the board.
Yep, thank you. Okay, so we have one event this Saturday, so it begins the YMCA St. Patrick's Day Run. Looks like it's good to go. And then 2 weeks from today, Tree Fort kicks off. So if there is anything else that is needed for that event in the Outer Space Banana, please let me know. We did update the calendar. I sent out another copy for those of you using the SharePoint. You can see the changes on there, but also we did implement some blackout dates for this fall. August and September are very, very busy. So the special events committee just met, looked at the overlap with what we have going on, what's going on in the cities around us and the county in general, and did determine that we wouldn't be accepting any more applications for special events themselves. Obviously, there's other things going on in the area that will continue to take place, but just for this particular process. And those are going to be outlined on the website today. So if you need to reference them for any reason. Anyone else have any questions or need anything before we're adjourned? All right, that concludes the special events team meeting. Thank you.